Hi guys, it's Mimberly and welcome back to the channel. I am apparently the gift today that keeps on giving because we're playing the next myth. I'm not gonna lie, after Silas's one I had to genuinely take a break. Like I had a shower, I had to redo my face. I was in a fucking state after the Silas myth. So we're going on to Xavier's today. Shooting stars. Now I know you lot have been waiting for the next load of myths, so I'm sorry it's taken me so long. Alright, let's get straight into it. Our old tale is found in the annals of Philos's history. Wandering bards sing of it throughout the land. For hundreds of years, Philos's throne sat empty, and now the crownless queen of legends foretold, regains her scepter. Philos is to be ushered in a new spring. In darkness, one does claim a glimmer. Their new queen shall bring the dying Philos a chance to regain its former light and glory. I sit on my cold throne. At the bottom of the steps is my grandest knight, Xavier. Also, he looks fucking good in that outfit. A queen's coronation ceremony should be a day of bliss, yet he chose today to bid me farewell. Are you not afraid the backtrackers suspect you betrayed them for a private audience?
They are aware. As a knight, it is my duty to attend to your majesty.
Not sure how I feel about this one so far. Are you truly leaving?
The spaceship is ready.
Your trip is one of danger and uncertainty.
Our safety is assured so long as your majesty doesn't call our steel into battle.
Your majesty, he addresses me with a cool indifference. Actually, Xavier hasn't addressed me with my name for years. And now seeing him stand, I realize it's been some time since I've gotten a good look at him. You've already made up your mind. In that case, I rise from my throne and walk down the steps. I will tell the citizens. I stand before Xavier. The grandest knight perished in battle. I shall give him the highest honor. He smiles at me.
Your majesty has my gratitude.
The wind sweeps into the room, the tassel with a star-shaped charm swaying on his sword. Nightfall obscures the tassel, but I've seen it in my mind's eye many a time. You still have that? Xavier's thumb brushes against the hilt of his sword.
Yes, I do.
I remember the first time I asked him about it long ago. We were both students at Astria Knight Academy. So he's leaving. Winter snow melted and wavy leaf sea lavender sprouted around a statue, the holy sword of the goddess. After hearing the Star Hunters returned from their space expedition, I rushed out of my dorm and sprinted across Astro Science Avenue to the monument. Students huddled in small groups, listening to Vice Captain Jeremiah brag about his adventures. Jeremiah, where's Xavier?
Looking for our princely prefect, are you?
He checked his surroundings and scratched his head.
Strange. He was here earlier.
I turned to look at the looming clock tower. I know where he is. Must be at his secret hiding spot again. I ran to the clock tower, ignoring the shouts behind me.
Don't bother him. He's injured. Near death's door, I'd say.
Yeah, that's not going to stop MC. At the very pinnacle of the clock tower, Xavier sits on an edge. Why didn't you tell me of your return, planning to sulk in the shadows of a clock tower?
You still sought after me, even when I hadn't said a single word.
He didn't turn to face me, and his voice was surprisingly calm. I sat down next to him. I watched as he reattached a tassel with a star-shaped charm to the hilt of his sword. He must have been staring at it again.
What's wrong? Did someone tease you?
Always. My fucking community teased me. I looked away. Yes, you. Jeremiah said you were on death's door. I was somewhat concerned. But here you are, hale and whole.
I can be on death's door and you would only be somewhat worried. I see.
I won't even bother fretting over you next time. Xavier chuckled. Oh, shit, pressed the wrong button.
Well, I was worried you desired revenge. Only an arm and a leg would suffice.
If you are genuinely worried, then don't keep us in the dark. And you owe me. A month ago, we had a break from our studies in the winter. Wanderer attacks have become more frequent on Phylos. All students were to report their whereabouts to the academy. Xavier was the only one who did no such thing. A day after our winter vacation started, he quietly boarded the spaceship for the Star Hunter expedition and disappeared into the Starry Sea. Shh, was all he said to me when I happened to meet him by chance prior to his departure. The academy and your family were relentless when they lost contact with you. I covered for you and worried about your safety. Sleep has evaded me ever since. The more I remembered, the greater my anger, but Xavier continued to laugh.
You were quick to deflect any suspicions heading my way. Your next drink is my treat.
Is that it?
Would a piece of brown sugar cake satisfy you?
Hey, cake. Why do all these men try to win me over with food or money? The gentle breeze passed us by, and his laugh not only made me more upset, I decided not to just forgive him yet. 2 pieces.
All right.
And you have to eat them with me.
I'll spend a whole week having my meals with you.
Aw. Closing his eyes, Xavier laid down on the platform. Also, don't you lot laugh at me because I got the glasses.
It is quite unlike you to stare at me without saying a word. Breeze is delightful. Won't you join me?
Aww. Oh, so that's the charm they're talking about. Your family visited the academy.
Life Seekers will start their recruitment next month. Shouldn't you be training? They seek only one new face.
Always avoid talking about your family. Is there a reason? They say you have someone in your mind if you stare at an object.
As I've told you before, it's not what you think.
He has yet to tell me the story behind the sword tassel he always carried. This tassel's a living fossil. Your beloved must like vintage things.
And may I ask what kind of tassel is popular nowadays with the townsfolk?
He's avoiding the important part. Simple, neat, just like the one on our uniforms.
I never noticed. To be honest, your description matches this tassel.
They're different. Are your eyes not working? I'd rather...
And what were you about to say?
Oh, I didn't get that. I'm heading to my class now. Now that you've returned, you're on your own when your family comes knocking.
Since your next few drinks are my treat, may I ask another favor?
Like what? Go ahead.
I'll tell you later. Go to class. We'll meet at noon tomorrow by the Holy Sword of the Goddess.
Are you asking to spar once more? Aww. That's so cute. So they're kind of like, so they're basically school kids, huh? Alright, let me go refresh my tea and then I'll be back with the next bit. Okay, never mind, I got my husband to do it. Astria Knight Academy is the oldest, most prestigious institution in Phylos. Many of the planet's swordmasters and grandest student knights studied and graduated from the academy. Let me just get on that screen. There we go. It was established to train knights for the Order of Light Seekers who answer only to the royal family. The academy's free students specialize in various branches of swordsmanship. The Star Hunter specialize in the Strength V style. Moon Chaser specialize in the Supporto style, and the Rainbow Runners in the Defensa style. However, everyone regards one another with respect and is willing to work together. I can't fucking English today. Yet this year's students before I, the Moon Chaser Prefect, had an arch nemesis. In other words, I had a supposed rivalry with the Star Hunter Prefect. Okay, so Xavier is going in Strength Feet, we're going in Supporto. Interesting. That's probably going to go out of my mind in 2 minutes. The next day, noon, by the Holy Sword of the Goddess in the Academy's Central Plaza.
Hurry, everyone! The Moon Chaser and Star Hunter prefects are fighting again!
Why does a Moon Chaser always pester His Highness Prince Xavier?
Our prefect is a student of the Grandest Knight. When swordsmanship's involved, it's hard to say who wins.
It's been quiet. Why are they fighting now?
The preliminary rounds to join the Light Seekers are about to start. Maybe they're settling who takes the spot?
Don't they have the same teacher? They should make better use of their time.
They probably despise each other.
That has to be it.
They must truly hate each other then.
I stood amidst the ocean of people holding the sword at my waist. Standing across from me was Xavier, unperpetuated by the gossip.
My weak point will be revealed by your 30th move. Strike me down before my comet trail determines the outcome of our battle.
Sounds weird hearing him talk like that. Couldn't help but sigh after glancing at those around me. Would you always request a public meeting when there's no excuse to not go home, Xavier? Everyone and their mother believes we hate each other.
We both attend the academy, and the Grandest Knight is our teacher. You are the only one who has a chance of winning against me.
At least he's flattering us. Loki? Let's try to open the top of Blessed. Hold on.
Losing to a stranger would be unheard of.
Yeah, true.
This shall be our last duel.
You said the same words upon refusing to take the final exam for culinary arts. The professor spent the entire afternoon scolding me for bullying my classmates.
I'm sorry.
You refused to meet His Majesty? That's why you snuck up with the expedition team.
I wish he never was my father.
I didn't clock it when I heard Prince Xavier. Xavier lowered his head and caressed the hoard's sill, his fingers touching the tassel. Star-shaped charm shone bright, almost blinding me. Alright, however, this is the last time. I also have a request.
Go on.
I stared at the tassel for some time and then shifted my gaze elsewhere. With a flick of my wrist, I unsheathed my sword. I'll tell you when you lose. Let's get started.
So, what is to be your 30th move?
Don't go easy on me. I'll defeat you in less than 30. Little cute, childhood rivalry. Later, when the royal messenger arrived at the academy with the guards pushing away the crowd they saw, His Highness Prince Xavier had challenged his castmate to another duel. They moved quick as lightning, sparks flying off their swords.
Another clash of steel. For what?
While the royal messenger knew little of swords, he noted the girl's strikes were fast and aggressive. His Highness was at a disadvantage.
Strange. His Highness was never a poor fighter.
Meanwhile, the crowd was swept up in the spectacle. How ruthless, they certainly are rivals. Upon a closer look, the royal messenger discovered something peculiar. Though the girl's offensive was good, her impatience prevented her from landing a decisive blow. His Highness simply stayed calm and was quick on his feet. He showed no signs of panic.
19. 20. 20 and a half. I parried it, so only half counts.
Bruh?
Verily, less than 10 moves remain. Should I not go easy on you now?
What is he... Time to put an end to this.
Jesus Christ. The royal decree he brought today was related to the future of Phylos.
Separate them.
The royal messenger gestured to the guards behind him. They immediately interrupted the duel. About to unleash a technique, the girl forced herself to stumble so she wouldn't hit the guards. Panic finally appeared on the prince's face. He rushed forward, putting himself in the path of the girl's sword.
Protect His Highness!
Guards did as they were told. The Academy's central plaza was plunged into chaos, onlookers screaming. I leaned against the holy sword of the goddess and rubbed my sprained ankle. Xavier was taken away by the royal messenger. Our duel ended with no clear winner and the crowd quickly left.
He went too far this time. It's unbelievable Prince Xavier would have the gall. Even if the position of Lightseeker is at stake, His Highness can't just ask servants to interrupt.
It's not like that at all.
Still defending him? Don't forget.
I paused and then suddenly put an arm around my shoulder.
I'm only saying this because we're friends. Rumors speak of ambassadors talking of an arranged marriage.
Oh, that's why.
Attending the Academy doesn't change how Xavier is of royal blood. The guards must be having a word or two with him about it. If you're desperate to ask him, you'll require more than luck. Do you need my help?
What are you two talking about?
Nothing. Xavier? I immediately stood up. We had a rather short chat with the royal messenger. Xavier remained quiet. His gaze moved from my face to the arm around my shoulder to Jemiah's pensive expression. I could sense the hostility.
Don't glare at me. Your Highness left her injured. Someone had to step up. She was drowning in a pool of tears because of your Highness's lack of mercy.
Some things don't change with Jemiah, huh? Jemiah is exaggerating.
It's a shame your kindness was wasted.
Jesus Christ! Xavier responded in a monotone voice as he pushed Jemiah's arm off of my shoulder.
I should provide succor for my junior.
I was only acting out of the kindness of my heart.
Plaza was enormous, yet Xavier insisted on passing through between Jemiah and me and dragged me away. Xavier.
Aid your junior instead of mine in her moments of distress if your heart is so full of compassion then.
He's so jealous? Oh my god. Someone is a bloody jealousy. He was like this in the last one too. Jesus. Oh my god, what am I doing? I have been learning swordsmanship from my teacher for as long as I could remember. My teacher was one of the greatest sword masters of Phylos. He was also the Grand Knight of the Lightseeker Legion and one of the King's most trusted men. I had known for a long time that I had a classmate called Xavier who was a prince of Phylos and whose swordsmanship was top-notch, but I didn't see him for many years. My teacher said it would be my duty to protect him in the future, because he would be the future king of Phylos. How come we're... Okay, we'll ask questions later. And my destiny was to become his bravest, scrunchiest, and trustiest Grand Knight. Oh my god, hiccups today. I'm trying to grab my ankle support, it's falling on the floor. Ah! Come on. Thank you. Later that day, Xavier gave me a piggyback ride to my teacher's house. Yeah, he heard us. Xavier, my legs can walk just fine.
Were you actually crying back there?
Oh, he's worried. I was saying nonsense. Do you actually believe him?
Let me check.
Xavier put me down and leaned in close.
Your eyes are red. If you weren't crying, then you've got to be sick.
I'm perfectly fine. His body blocked out much of the light. Cupping my cheek, he rested his thumb on my lower eyelid and stared at me. In which case... Ow. To my surprise, he blew air into my face. Xavier, you...
I spied a silhouette of a hooligan in your eyes. Now all is well.
Good. Hooligan? Do you mean Jemiah? Okay. There we go. Ankle support is on.
To approach you for no reason, let alone touch you. How is he not one?
Thank you. Can I have a cuddle? Can I have a hug? Is that no to a cuddle there? So many bucks! Come here. Please. I don't think the mic picked up that one. Oh my god. And now he's pouting. You're the hooligan for suddenly making that weird expression. I tried to grab Xavier. He didn't move and instead dragged me down with him to the carpet. Why didn't you dodge?
You'll be walking with a limp if you twist your ankle again.
I feel called out because my ankle is fucked as well. Had I twisted your ankle, our teacher would never forgive us. He'd speak of...
The grandest knight is to be the king's steady blade. Where his majesty points, your sword must follow.
Yeah, sounds about
In
right.
every waking moment, every dream can I recite those words.
Oh, is he not coming back today? I haven't studied the technique he showed me. I'd be dead if he asked.
He is with the other knights. He will be away for some time. You're back already.
Congratulations on your flawless victory.
Who taught you two to formally greet your teacher while on the floor?
About that.
Stand up.
Because of our teacher's success, the dinner was exceptionally lavish. After being on the battlefield for years, our teacher exuded an aura of intimidation even when he removed his armor and sat at the table.
Has the Lightseekers expedition been fruitful?
We were told in secret of a royal family member's disappearance. It's possible they are lost in the stars. We have our orders to find them. Were it not for this, our expedition would have been much better. Your Highness has traversed the starry sea in winter. Any insights?
I couldn't help but clench my fork. From what I knew, the less our teacher spoke, the more grave the situation. Tonight's meal was destined to be unappetizing.
I should not have.
Across the table, Xavier was solemn, shoving a piece of roasted chicken into his mouth and chewing.
Philos is vast, and the Academy's expedition scarce. I must accompany the Lightseekers next time.
Whether I take you with me is up for debate.
Knowing Xavier had always avoided responsibility, he turned to me.
What happened to your foot?
Me? I was training.
Having worked so hard, who won today's duel?
We didn't fight.
I requested she.
Xavier and I unwittingly interrupted each other, and we realized we had been caught.
Well, this is the first time I've seen the king use a grandest knight to skip class. Since you enjoy the clashing of steel, a tie is not sufficient. Outside, the both of you. Another 1,000 strikes. Don't come back until a winner has been decided.
But my foot! Xavier and I looked at each other, reluctantly set down our cutlery, and stood up from the table. Before we could move, however, there was a sigh.
Eat your fill before you depart.
Jesus Christ. My ankle is screwed. I can't move. The holy sword of the goddess stood tall in the night. Two swords sang, their colliding sparks like brilliant starlight. Xavier stepped back, steadying himself. Prince Xavier has tasted defeat again.
In spectacular fashion, you have tasted victory again.
Why do I feel like he's being gentle about this whole thing? I caught my breath, rubbed my tired arms, and raised my sword. Once more.
Are you determined to do 1,000 strikes? You fulfill every request our teacher makes.
I also fulfill the requests of your highness. How else would I have sprained my ankle?
Well, as your prince, I'm commanding you to sit down and rest.
Bloody hell. With his chin, he gestured to my hand still holding the sword.
Tend to your bloody hands.
Don't like it when I'm told what to do. Under the holy sword of the goddess, Xavier and I sat near each other. Taking my hand, he poured medicine over my bloodied palm. Ouch! Use too much, it hurts.
And yet, with remarkable determination, you didn't appear to be in pain.
Great to be punished by our teacher and then reprimanded by the prince. Xavier carefully bandaged my wounded palm. I gazed at the tall statue behind me. I understand our teacher's reasoning. This monument was forged from the swords belonging to the previous grandest knights. I was to be reminded that wherever His Majesty points, a knight's sword must follow.
You are no knight.
It's only a matter of time before I am. Hugging my knees, I enjoyed the sight of Xavier being focused on tending to my wounds. Why did His Majesty send the royal messenger here?
They're requesting I return, like always. The royal messenger said the preparations for the titleist ceremony are underway.
Titleist ceremony? So suddenly? As the only prince of Phylos, Xavier had to participate in the royal family's numerous ceremonies. Not a single one could be skipped when he was to wear the crown. The statue was covered in ivy. Fireflies flew out from under the leaves. Specks of light illuminated Xavier's face, yet his eyes dimmed for a moment.
He might not make it this time.
He, as in Xavier's father, the king of Phylos. Xavier's relationship with His Majesty was a subject of taboo. Will you depart immediately? Xavier shook his head.
I refuse to forget that incident.
Uh-oh. Why am I sensing some trauma? No. Guys, what incident? Xavier never told me what happened. I could only surmise a vague idea based on the bits and pieces from our conversations. If I'm correct, this incident occurred around the Gladius ceremony. It was a tradition passed down from generation to generation. Only those who wielded the light blade could prove themselves worthy to ascend the throne. The trial was known as Gladius ceremony. To the south was Starfall Forest, and a wanderer made its nest there. Xavier was to enter the forest and kill the wanderer himself. I was present on the day everyone went to send the prince off. Starfall Forest was a desolate place with an unstable protofield. At night, a heavy fog enshrouded the trees. Their leaves nestled in the wind to the shrieks of mysterious birds. When Xavier entered Starfall Forest, all became quiet. The forest was a wanderer, quietly observing his prey. Everyone waited at the outskirts, wondering if the prince would return. Day after day, the forest remained silent. They thought the wanderer devoured the prince and left one after another. I was the only one still waiting for him. Xavier would always leave me like this. At times he joined the expedition team, other times he was returning to the palace with the royal messenger. I'd always ask when he could return. He always returned within the time frame given to me. Before the prince entered the forest, everyone was praying for his safety. At that time, Xavier whispered into my ear, 7 days. After 7 days had passed, it was a moonless night. I was the only one still waiting for him. Before dawn broke, a faint light appeared in the forest. It got brighter, then turned into a white figure. Xavier emerged. The light blade dissipated in countless specks of light. He approached me, the Wanderer's protocore in his hand. There was no joy or relief to be seen. Keeping his head lowered, Xavier silently hugged me. What he encountered or saw in those 7 days is shrouded in mystery. Killing a wanderer should be celebrated, but Xavier had changed ever since. It's as if a part of him was left behind in Starfall Forest. Amidst glowing fireflies by the statue, Xavier lowered his eyes.
I can't become the man he wants. I will never sit on the throne he leaves behind either.
Xavier and I were walking different paths. It'd be foolish of me to say I understood him. I could only hold his hand. If you're the next king, I promise to stay by your side.
The thought is pleasant to hear. Yet,
Xavier smiled and looked at me.
are you resolved? Is it your wish to be the king's sword?
Yes.
And if I don't wear the crown?
What? Xavier and His Majesty may have fought, but I never thought about the possibility of someone else becoming king. And I'll be someone else's knight. I'll have to swear an oath of fealty to become the grandest knight, follow him to the ends of the world, look only at him, wield a sword in his name. And he won't be Xavier. I never imagined such a thing could even occur.
I don't want you to become another's knight. I also won't let you be at another's side.
Xavier.
I can choose not to become king. You can choose not to join the Lightseekers who answer only to the royal family.
His notions were beyond me, yet he stated it in a rather aloof manner.
Philos is boundless. We are able to do all sorts of things. Why do you need to follow someone else's orders? To become a Grandest Knight?
The teacher said this is how I should live. What else is there for me?
I'll take you to Uluru.
Uru?
On my last expedition, I found a newborn planet. I named it. No wanderers or people were observed. Only flowers. In a mere glance, a person can see every planet in the universe. Blue ones, red ones, pink ones.
Didn't they say Philos is slowly dying? How can there be new planets? Xavier lowered his head. The fireflies landed on the wavy leaf sea of lavender petals.
With spring's arrival, hope is soon to follow.
Spring? What is spring like on other planets?
I recorded that planet's coordinates. Once I've settled my personal affairs. And if you ever surrender your wish to be a Grandest Knight, let's elope. We'll spend the rest of our days in Uluru.
Oh! Oh, that's so cute. But it's also making me worry. Because these myths don't tend to be soft, do they? I fell asleep while leaning against Xavier. When I woke up in my bedroom the next day, it was almost noon. I checked to see if Xavier was awake. As I neared his room, the door was open. Fully dressed, he was already standing in front of the mirror. Xavier, why are you... I approached him. His garb was for meeting with His Majesty. Are you planning to return to the palace?
I cannot run away forever. I shall personally visit him this time.
You shouldn't go if you are unwilling. Xavier stayed quiet. He picked up his sword by the mirror. My heart sank as I noticed the tassel. Who knows when we'll see each other again. I mentioned having a request before our duel. May I ask a question?
You can ask 10 if it pleases you.
I tried to cheer myself up and... Who gave you that tassel with the star-shaped charm? Your lover? Xavier looked at me for a moment. He suddenly smiled.
At long last, the time has come. Yes, it's from the person I like.
I knew it had to be true, yet I felt uneasy he confessed so easily. Then she... Is she truly someone you like?
Yes.
Are you very fond of her?
Unlike any other. Her brilliance holds a special place in my heart.
I clenched the hem of my coat. The regret of asking such a question was tangible. You fancy her?
She deserted me years ago. I've sought after her ever since.
For such a reason, you accompanied the expedition team? To seek her out?
No. Not at all.
Do you keep the tassel to remember her then?
I've never forgotten her. She was the one who forgot me.
We forgot Xavier, didn't we? How could she? Despite this being a sad matter, Xavier wasn't in the least bit upset for some reason.
We've crossed paths, but she has no memory of me. She can't even recall the time she gifted me this tassel. There's a certain expression she uses whenever we meet.
As he spoke, he glanced at me, seemingly dissatisfied.
It is one of blissful ignorance and wonder.
How dare she? Seeing Xavier like this, I pitied him. I no longer regretted asking. I could only feel indignation for what he suffered through. Xavier, I need to tell you something.
What is it?
gritted my teeth, deciding to be honest with him. You should give up on her.
Why?
She doesn't even remember you. Leave her and find your own happiness. Many girls admire you at the academy. The Moon Chasers have Lilia, Joanna. We also have Sarah from the Star Hunters. They're all lovely ladies.
I see. Do you want me to pursue someone else? Chasing another skirt?
I mean, Xavier took a step toward me.
Is there anyone else you'd recommend?
The staff at the dining hall, the young miss at the bakery. Xavier took another step.
Is that it?
Are they not enough? I had no choice but to sit on the bed. Xavier leaned down, his hand resting near me.
They are wonderful, but I don't like them.
It's no use then. I sheepishly avoided his gaze, looking somewhere else. I heard Jemiah say your betrothed had been selected. Have you met her?
I don't know.
Jemiah also said Xavier closed the distance between us. He was a breath away, our noses almost touching.
Do you fancy Jeremiah?
Huh?
You always speak highly of him. If he's your suitor, I'll pay him a visit before I leave.
Jealousy. For what reason?
He and I should have a discussion.
It didn't seem like he wanted afternoon tea, but a duel. I tried to hold Xavier back. Don't you dare! I asked him to inform me of the rumors.
You are concerned about him.
He's not a bad person. He's foolish and always needs my help. Of course I'd be concerned if...
So you fancy fools who request your aid?
He's so jealous. What makes you say that? Xavier narrowed his eyes and then sat down next to me on the bed. While I was perplexed, he took off his brooch.
Put this on for me?
You were wearing it seconds ago.
I believe it was crooked. I'm not capable of putting it on properly by myself. I need your assistance.
Don't move. I took the brooch and moved closer to Xavier.
Is it on?
Yes. Having spent a lot of time with Xavier, this was the closest I had ever gotten to him. Maybe the brooch clasp was designed to be tight. I was nervous.
You can't put it on either.
You and I aren't the same. What if your betrothed dislikes your inability to wear your brooch?
My betrothed could be as much a fool as I am. She'll be incapable of putting on a brooch for me.
I accidentally pricked my finger. Ah!
She could even prick her finger in the attempt.
Xavier, his hand in a white glove, gently held my finger.
Why are you and injuries always a pair?
I fucking feel that! Genuinely! You should ask yourself. The bleeding stopped. I quickly took back my hand and stood up, pretending nothing had happened. The palace walls are too troublesome. I'm better off as a knight. In a few days, you'll be officially the crown prince, and eventually king. I have to work hard. If I'm to join the Lightseekers next month, I'll be a true knight. I will protect you.
Is that so? Are you sending me a gift if I take the throne?
I thought about it. Can I also give you a little star?
A little star.
I poked the hilt of Xavier's sword. I think your tassel was ruined during our duel yesterday. I'll buy you a new one. Fair?
I want it handmade.
Before I could respond, Xavier stood up and attached the sword to his waist.
I must take my leave.
Already?
I should already be at the palace, but someone overslept. There was a delay.
My bad. Fuck me. Your cape? Xavier stood at the door and looked back, his silhouette basking in the soft afternoon light. I met Xavier's gaze. It dawned on me that this person, the Prince of Phalos and future Crown Prince, he would be the one I would swear to protect, forever. I handed him the cape. When will you return? Should I even be asking? He put on the cape and smiled. He always did whenever he would leave.
I'll return when you wish to see me.
straight away. Jesus. Why are these myths so good at tugging at our heartstrings, people? After Xavier left, I didn't see him again. The ceremony to bestow him the title of Crown Prince wasn't held. Xavier never returned to the academy either. No one told me why, and my teacher refused to speak of him. 1 month after Xavier left me, I passed the exam to join the Order of Light Seekers. It was my first step in becoming the Grandest Knight. I was walking the path my teacher told me to follow. Time passed, and the king passed away. There was a mourning period of 200 years before his successor took the throne. Year after year, fewer people of Phyllis cared about whether someone would be king. And in those 200 years, no one spoke at the ceremony to bestow the title of Crown Prince. I didn't stray off the path I had chosen. Step by step, I became commander of an elite squad. However, we had no king. The authority of the knights was weakened as different squads were scattered all over Phylos. Each kept to themselves and lost contact with one another. During that time, I simply marched on and swung my sword. I didn't know where I was headed. I just kept thinking if Xavier ever returned one day, if he became the king of Phylos, I want to be the one by his side. Years later, oh my god, okay. In the depths of a forest, I was leading my squad in a fight against the Wanderers for several days. Sorry, people. Everyone was exhausted from the endless sporadic battles. At night, I sat alone in the forest clearing, planning our next move.
Starfall Forest was always home to an unstable protofield. Not a single person made it out alive these past few months. I doubt we can take down the beast.
You're ruining the mood. If the best knights in the Order of Light Seekers can't defeat it, no one can.
Xavier's Gladius ceremony took place here. Always brooding over that. Your persistence is... No. Could it be?
Nonsense! After we graduated, Jeremiah became a Light Seeker. He was one of the best knights under my leadership. And in these past 200 years, he was the only person I could speak to about Xavier. I wonder what happened to him, but I won't sacrifice everyone for that curiosity. Jeremiah sighed.
With the death of His Majesty, your teacher went on an expedition into the Starry Sea. The Lightseekers are supposed to serve the Crown Prince, but that bastard Xavier. We're all scattered to the wind. Who knows how many already abandoned knighthood? If things turned out differently, we wouldn't be in this mess.
Stop whining. We should just rest while we can. Jeremiah patted my shoulder before going back to the others. The trees had grown for centuries, and their canopies blocked out even moonlight. As the fire went out, there was no light. Everyone soon drifted off to sleep. Birds ceased their serenades for the time being. I didn't fall asleep, not when a white figure appeared in the depths of the forest. In spite of the darkness, it was cloaked in a soft light. Our gazes met before it walked away. Can't be. Xavier? Xavier! I chased after him. His movement wasn't too quick, but he wouldn't let me catch up to him. In the depths of my heart, I knew it might be an illusion, but what if it actually was Xavier? Xavier, wait! In a moment of exhaustion, I blinked and the figure disappeared. The forest also vanished. I was in the center of a galaxy, its expanse unending. It was an illusion. I could hear my heart pounding and started to feel the waves of stardust. Damn it! Everything was turned upside down. As if I'd become weightless, I fell at the speed of light. Down, down, down into the nebula. What is this place? I was a stone descending into a lake. Billions of stars vanished, escaping my gaze. There was only darkness. Am I still in the forest? Embraced in darkness, time and space dissolved into nothingness. Whether I opened my eyes or not, it mattered not. The line between life and death blurred. Did I die? Death was so quiet, weightless. I'm a feather floating in the starry sea. I didn't need to be afraid of dying. Still, my only regret was that I wasn't able to see Xavier one more time.
It's you, isn't it?
Voice. It sounds familiar.
Answer me. Where are you?
I'm so tired. I lack the energy to open my mouth.
Hey!
Before I could sink into my dreams, a blinding white light stung my eyes. A beam of light. It was like watching the universe be created. Light split the darkness and swirled, and from light, everlasting the world unfolded. I opened my eyes, unsure if this was still an illusion.
Don't fall asleep. Please, wake up.
In a fathomlessly bright world, I saw Xavier's face again.
You can't fall asleep. Let's go home. Together.
This fucking game, guys. I swear. Years of not seeing him and he just appears like that. Fucking hell. Okay, we got 3 more. I'm scared. It was like a dream. Xavier returned to me. He was also a light seeker. After rescuing me from the dark, swirling cosmetic vortex, Xavier took me to the base camp on the other side of Starfall Forest. He was always nearby whenever I was in danger. Strictly speaking, Xavier's squad was not official. Each of the knights wore a different badge. They likely belonged to various groups in the Order of Lightseekers prior. I knew nothing of their experience or beliefs, which made Xavier join them.
To think you were actually here. We all thought you went missing.
Jemiah still spoke his mind, just like back in the academy.
I've been investigating the forest for the past few years. It's always infested with wanderers. There's something afoot. The Lightseekers hunted down wanderers in this area, only for the beasts to be reborn. What a waste of time. I figured we attack the problem at its source. We'll be done with it once and for all.
A command center had been set up using various equipment. Xavier stood in front of a virtual map, calmly explaining his discoveries over the years to Jemiah and me. His voice was monotone, yet firm. I watched as Xavier walk to and fro before the big screen. He seemed like his same old self, but also not.
Still in a daze? Or are you going to rest like everyone else?
Xavier walked up to me. It was only then I'd noticed that the other knights had left. Oh my god. Oh, I'm still recovering from that illusion.
Truly?
Xavier handed me a jug of water.
They say you have someone on your mind if you stare at an object for a long time.
Those words were associated with memories from the distant past. I had to think about them before feeling a sense of familiarity with Xavier again. Leaning against the equipment, I took the jug and smiled. The years passed. I could have fallen in love with someone else.
Good.
Aren't you going to ask who it is?
It matters not. I'm happy for you. Having someone in your heart gives you the hope to press on.
I couldn't help but look at the hilt of his sword. The tassel was still there, but the star-shaped charm had lost most of its original colour. Only the string seemed to be new. You still cherish that tassel?
I do.
You recall...
You haven't seen our modified spaceship. It's not far from here. Follow me.
Still changing the subject. Staying in the camp, I noticed Xavier was always busy. He was either scouting the forest or secluded in his spaceship for a whole day. I had a lot of questions. Why wasn't there a ceremony when he returned to the palace? How did he join the Lightseekers? What was he doing all this time? Yet he always took the conversation in another direction. And not only that, he avoided spending time with me. I was even more suspicious. He must be keeping something from me.
Are you sure?
I am. I'm counting on you to find out the truth from Xavier. Don't overdo it.
Understood. At least I can help you after all these years.
Xavier had just returned from the forest. I quickly lay down next to the equipment.
Hey! Hey! What's wrong? Having another fit again?
I caught Xavier's attention.
What happened to her?
I haven't the slightest idea. Her condition only worsened ever since she escaped the illusion. We weren't able to tell you until now.
As I expected, Xavier's expression became grave.
Does it involve her heart?
Yes, it hurts so much, like I'm being stabbed. Some weird energy must have... If we find the cause...
I swear on my honor that she was crying.
Always over-dramatizing. Before I could complain about Jamara's poor acting, Xavier turned on his headset and then picked me up.
Are you still in the spaceship? I need to borrow it. Put Operation Backtrack on hold for now. Yes, at this very moment.
Huh? No! The situation is getting out of control. I hurriedly stopped him. It's fine, Xavier. You don't need to use the spaceship. Xavier was still suspicious. I quickly stood on the ground and jumped up and down 2 times. Everything's working.
You lied to me?
No. I had no choice because you wouldn't tell me anything, even when I've been here for a while. Xavier unexpectedly wasn't upset. After he was assured that I was fine, he ruffled my hair.
As long as you're healthy.
But his reaction gave me some clues. Why were you anxious? What did you discover? Does it affect someone's heart? This is in relation to the protocore in my heart, isn't it?
It's all speculation. Hence why I didn't tell you.
Getting prepared for some lore drop here. Xavier seemed to trust me. He turned to look in the direction of where I saw that white figure.
It's not just a person's heart. This concerns the entire planet. We found out the secret Philos has been hiding.
Oh? Oh, fucking hell. Poor timing to pause it. Jesus Christ. Either it's the truth or Xavier's guess. In the center of Starfall Forest, which had an unstable protofield, was the heart of Philos, but it was hollow. Philos was made by mortal hands. It shouldn't have existed, and the core's energy had long been exhausted. The only way to keep the planet from dying was to fill its heart with energy. Philos was a planet where almost everyone lived eternal, thus humans were the most abundant source that yielded much energy. Almost everyone who set foot here had become the planet's food. Wonders were a side effect born from the abnormal phenomenon. Xavier was aware of this during his Gladius ceremony. The Gladius ceremony, 200 years ago. The prince returned from the forest. The light blade belonged to him as well as the Wanderer's protocore.
Well done.
His Highness presented the protocore to his father.
Shouldn't the protocore warrant a formal inspection?
The Lightblade deemed you worthy.
Is there no need for formalities, or are you unwilling? A heart was once in this protocore. Am I mistaken?
I knew you'd catch on. However, it is a necessary duty of the Crown Prince. It is also the King's responsibility.
The prince placed the red protocore in his father's hand. He made sure his father tightly held onto it.
In another eon, this heart beat only for you. I will return it. No matter her likeness, this heart belongs to you and you alone.
The prince then bowed and left.
Xavier! Listen to me. A king cannot act on his emotions, or only protect the people he holds dear. Your duty is to protect Philos. You must only do what is necessary.
Is that why he left? The Wanderer you killed wasn't a Wanderer? I finally understood why Xavier and His Majesty fought.
Civilians and knights were not the only ones swallowed by this gaping maw. In exchange for the planet's longevity, the royal family occasionally sent in humans. Wanderers would be born as a result. A knight's glory, honor. There is nothing. And even if there were, they are long dead and gone. the Order of Lightseekers has always kept the truth in the shadows. For the royal family's sake, no one was to be told of people becoming food. Upon my return to the palace, I learned they stopped sending people to Philos' heart.
Is that not a good thing? No one has to die?
They found the perfect sacrifice. She can die and be reborn without end.
Us.
In their eyes, she was the planet's very life force, for only she had achieved true immortality. The royal family believed if they sent her into the planet's heart when the time was right, their problems would be solved. No one asked how she felt, or whether she was willing to sacrifice herself. They also care little about her being left in a hole to die and be reborn again and again. Her duty was to save Philos because her existence works in such a manner. It was the justification for not holding a ceremony. How could I wear the crown when it means coating my hands in her blood?
Shit. After that, Xavier and I never talked about it again. The refurbishing of the expedition spaceship was nearing completion. The backtracking operation that Xavier had mentioned was also officially about to begin. Jeremiah was intrigued by this bold plan and had long since joined Xavier's side. Yet none of them would indulge any specific details about the plan. Silvercord?
Silvercord is the closest town to our camp's location. They have a festival every 6 months. We'll be able to buy supplies for the trip.
Perhaps it was because of the forest, spread to feel that every family who lived in Silvercord grew strange, beautiful plants. All sorts of goods were on the market. They spilled out from the shops onto the streets outside. I figured you'd leave His Majesty behind along with the other nobles. But you're leaving Philos.
Our trip is an experiment through time and space. Nothing is being left behind. If we are to save Philos, we cannot do it in this era.
Time travel is dangerous. Where will you go?
We selected a specific coordinate in the space-time continuum. The short test trips yielded fruitful results. Our success rate is high.
I knew I couldn't stop Xavier. I looked in the direction of the flutes and the harps. By the squire's fountain, children were playing with a wandering bard.
It's Zeze. Do you have any candy today, Zeze?
Zeze, that's adorable. They surrounded Xavier, and Xavier knelt down.
None, I'm afraid.
You said you'd bring some last time. You don't tell lies.
Xavier searched his body and then took off his brooch.
Won't you take this instead?
The children ran away happily with the shiny accessory. The brooch proves you're a member of the royal family.
It's but a toy to them. They would rather take candy over a bauble.
He sat down by the fountain. The bard sang of an ancient philosopher and legend about the royal family to the tune of melodious instruments. The Wanderers continue to appear for 200 years with no king or no order of light seekers. What can Philos do?
I'm not the only person who could sit on the throne.
Do you still remember our conversation at the academy? You said you wouldn't let me be another's knight or let me stand by someone else's side.
Are people not childish at times?
What about her? Have you given up? Xavier wasn't carrying his sword today, but he knew I was referring to the girl who gave him the tassel. A rare instance of nostalgia appeared on Xavier's
I
face.
cannot. She's my purpose. My guiding starlight.
From those mere words, I understood everything. The person who can die and be reborn. It's her, isn't it not?
Yes.
These were all for her. He was looking for her, always thinking about her, even when she had forgotten him. Yet she influenced his life in every choice he made. Giving up someone you love for the planet, or saving the planet for the one you love, which was more noble, more heartbreaking. But I truly understood the tassel's value to Xavier now. I knew what I had to do. Leaving Father to save someone you love, I'd do the same. There are people here that are important to me. My comrades in the Lightseekers, former classmates, friends, our teacher, and under Xavier's gaze, you remained a word stuck in my throat. I looked away. Children, they also have people important to them. I can't leave Phylos. I will stay behind to protect everything here. The bard song about Phylos was at its end. In these final days, the universe nearing its demise, the noblest king shall be born in the darkness. As the true savior of Phylos, he shall lead us into the light, onto true mortality. Conviction in my heart, I looked at Xavier. We were about to walk separate paths. I couldn't tell what Xavier was thinking. He simply turned to the bard.
The king in the legend, who leads Phylos into an age of light and immortality. The wearer of the crown will instead be queen. Facing every challenge, she never gives up, even in the darkest of hours. Having a leader doesn't matter. She is still the bravest knight in all of Phylos. Under her, the scattered Lightseekers will band together and find true glory.
Bard understood his words, leaving to sing a new melody. Through song, the bard would spread the legend far and wide. The legend of Phylos' queen would sweep across the planet like the spring breeze, sowing seeds from the mountains to the churning rivers. Just as the arrival of spring, after snow melts, everyone would celebrate the joyous occasion. After 200 years of silence, the planet would finally greet the light of a new hope.
The spaceship will depart tomorrow.
I thought about it, and took off the star-shaped badge representing my knighthood. I gave it to Xavier. While I cannot accompany you myself, my heart will.
Is this the little star your majesty promised me years ago?
No, the tassel is important to you. Pretend I didn't say anything back then.
Your majesty doesn't need to do that. Allow me to divulge a secret.
Xavier took the star-shaped badge.
Only one person has given me a little star.
Unsure of what Xavier meant, I touched my ears, which had turned red. I'll return to the capital now.
Lightseeker recruitment will start again. Your majesty should visit the current candidates.
What about you? When will you return? The setting sun dyed Xavier's hair as
The
Xavier's
day that
face
song
gold.
becomes a reality. When we meet again, I shall be your majesty's knight.
So Xavier's gonna go off to like another time to try and find a way to stop Phylos from dying. Meanwhile, we basically take his place, become queen. Oh my god. At a coronation, the queen and her grandest knight should receive the people's blessing. Yet my knight is before my eyes, refusing to stand next to me. Many things have changed since we left Silvercord. It's hard to remember the details. From knight to princess, my arduous journey brought me here. Xavier and his backtrackers have long since left the Lightseekers. They are regarded as traitors. Once our paths diverge, it will be difficult to see each other again. You of all people must know the price Phylos will have to pay should you fail. The goal of the backtrackers isn't what you told me those years ago, is it? Xavier lowers his head and clutches the hilt of his sword. Only then do I realize the charm on the tassel had been replaced with the badge I gave him. I do not know what made him replace it, but there's no point in asking.
Our teacher once said, wherever a ruler points, a knight's sword must follow. I remember.
He gives me a look I can't tear my eyes away from. Yet in the depths of his gaze are unfathomable.
Though your majesty may think otherwise, I haven't changed.
He takes my hand and kisses the back of it.
May Phylos prosper under eternity's divine gaze.
When Xavier leaves, much time passes before I come to my senses and walk to the balcony. I see the cheering crowd, but I'm unable to find him. Maybe he's already gone. Far, far away. I recall the night he brought me out of the forest. His light blade tore through the darkness, illuminating my world like a shooting star, a reality amidst illusions, my star. Awoken from a daze, a familiar person sits next to me. It were as if he never left.
You're awake. How are you feeling? Are you hurt?
Xavier.
You're not dreaming. It's me. I came back. Our teacher always said an honorable knight shouldn't fall victim to an ambush. And an honorable knight should never disappear without a word either. Yes, it's my fault. You may hit me a few times if it would help you to feel better.
I don't know what to say. I really don't. I'm just... The emotions going
Can
through.
you stand? Steady. I can carry you if you can't walk. And even if you could, I wouldn't mind carrying you. Fireflies, just for you.
You made those specks of light. They aren't fireflies. You can't lie to me. What are you looking at?
It's nothing. I happened to catch a shooting star.
Shooting star. Do you remember Allure, Xavier?
Yes, of course I do. Our little planet.
Do you think Allure will turn you into a star? Will turn into a shooting star?
Unlikely. It's only 200 years old. It's a very young planet. However, Uluru's flowers should be blooming.
Wanderers are a serious threat. Sooner or later they'll arrive in Uluru. They'll become an ever-Phyllis. Tired, Xavier. What if I can't brandish my sword one day? What then?
You rest. I'll be by your side, always. If you have nowhere to go, nowhere to rest your weary self, you can stay with me.
You always lie. He always has. He's always lied again and again and again and again. He said hope would follow when spring arrived. He said he'd take me to the new planet he discovered. He said he didn't want to be king, but also refused to let me stand by another side. He said he'd return when I miss him. He said when I become Queen of Phylos, he'd be my knight. The song he made up is now a reality. Yet as thousands cheer my name, he abandons me. Dazzling fireworks fill the sky. I leave the balcony and retreat to the darkness of the throne room. At that moment, a spaceship soars across the sky like a shooting star disappearing into the night. My footsteps echo in this empty room. No one will be by my side. My star has left me, and this time he will not return home. Shit. Okay, I think I probably used up most of my tears earlier with the Silas dragon myth. So I think any other time I probably would have cried to that, but that's really hit me. Like, how do I explain this? I don't feel like heartbroken. I feel upset because, you know, Xavier was one of those characters that when I first started the game, I didn't really think too much of him. He's grown on me as we've played more of his memories in the game, and obviously we've still got to do his other bond, which is going to be kind of his next video. But I don't really know how to feel. I really don't. Because I understand, like, he was basically trying to find another way to save Phylos without using us, because we would basically be constant fuel to him, like to the planet, because obviously we die and then we get reborn. But I don't know, I don't know how to feel. Okay, well, Zane is next. I'm gonna record that another day though when I've not used up all my tears, because I feel like I'm gonna need the tears. I hope you guys enjoy. If there's anything I've missed, please let me know, because I'm not always the best at picking up these sort of things. And thanks for watching. Jesus Christ, Info are gonna need to send me a massive fat paycheck for my therapy after I'm done with these myths.